Watch how you talking to your kid's mom, your baby mom. Like, you might not be with her, you might not put her on a loving level, but watch how you talk to her. Watch the energy that you give her. Watch the energy that you give her, especially in front of your kid. Like, you have to realize that whether or not you like it, whether or not, you okay with it, you got to figure out how to be okay with it, because that's going to be around for a very, very long time. Even that we love saying, oh, to the kid 18, it's way beyond that. Because what's going to happen when the kid get married? What's going to happen when the kid decide to have a baby? Are y'all going to make it awkward when it's time for a baby shower and birthday parties and shit like that? At the end of the day, if the romantic relationship didn't work out, figure out how you can still support that person and be respectful to that person and keep your boundaries up. Black men, you got to create your own boundaries too. Y'all act like y'all can't because y'all haven't been taught how to. Maybe that looks like sliding in trip DMs and asking, hey, big bro, how can I do da-da-da-da-da? Because he obviously is a person with a good head on his shoulders. Same thing with Ace. I wouldn't ask this, but like, I wouldn't ask him how to wipe my ass properly.
Okay. Okay. That was very distasteful. So here's the thing, right? When I saw this video on TikTok, when I was scrolling through, what really caught me is that this entire conversation sounds like it should be directed to women. And that's what really gets me. What really gets me is that there's a lot of women that are either guilty of doing stuff or they don't want to say things to offend the quote unquote sisterhood. I don't care about that. Okay, I done been kicked out the sisterhood before I even got on here to talk about these things, to keep it real. Or they're afraid to offend the sisterhood, and so they formulate a message, but they kind of do it indirectly to say things, and then they try to paint the blame all on men so that it makes sense, or so that the women will applaud. But in actuality, the message is actually targeted for women, because there is not a huge claim of bitter baby daddy. Let's just be honest. When we hear somebody being bitter, more times than not, it is coming from the angle of the baby mama. That vindictive nature, keeping the child from the kids, keeping the child from their fathers, getting in, putting them on child support. Even men that do right, they putting them on child support. Like, let's be honest. So this whole conversation, it should actually be targeted to women. Saying, first of all, going in front of men and telling them you need to watch how you talk to your baby mom is crazy. Like, first of all, telling grown men what they need and need not to do and how they need to do it is crazy. Because from my experience with these conversations, talking to men who've been in situations, most of the time that men are acting, it is reactive behavior. Most of the times that men are to a boiling point, it is reactive behavior to something that already happened. For some reason, people like to coddle the woman's side, right? You see two people arguing in the store. A lot of people in society nowadays, if they see a man and a woman yelling and the man yells at the woman, they look at the woman like, oh my God, she must be the victim. Not realizing that obviously there was a beginning to this entire scenario and something had to happen to make this man this irate. Now, I'm not saying that there's not bitterness from the male side and that it does not exist at all. Of course it does. But is it going to be in the majority compared to the women? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Women are known for their vindictive nature because women think emotionally instead of logically. So once their emotions get out of whack, once their feelings get hurt, once they get a little upset about something, you already know how this is going to unfold. You already know. There's men who get into arguments or disagreements with their baby mothers, and they're like, oh, there goes me seeing the kids for my birthday. There it is, because you already know she's not going to let me see them now because I done put her in her place. I done said something she don't like. This message would have made more sense if it was talking about, co-parenting balance. If it was a balanced conversation of if you're co-parenting with somebody, you have to try to learn to get along, this and this and that. But trying to tell men, oh yeah, y'all need to learn how to get along with y'all baby moms is acting as, is not addressing the elephant in the room. And then she went further on to say, oh, how y'all gonna act when it's graduation? How you gonna act when it's baby shower? How it's gonna act when it's this? How you gonna act when it's that? No, how are you gonna act? Because most of the times, the men don't want the problems. They don't want the confrontation. And notice I'm saying most. Because I already know there's going to be a trail of people talking about, well, men do it too. We talking about women. That's what we talking about right now. The bitterness, the majority of the bitterness comes from women. That's why it's called bitter baby mama. That's the focal point of the conversation. How are y'all going to act? Because most of the time, even now, before you get to those stages where there's going to be graduation or wedding or whatever, baby shower, their father, they go see their father buys them a gift, and as soon as they come home with it, y'all be the first ones talking about, that's it? He could at least got you this. He could at least done that for you. Look how he came and he only stayed for 30 minutes. I can't stand him. It's supposed to be about you. Instead of thinking about your own vindictive nature and the reason why his skin is crawling when he's around you. Because you don't know how to act. Because you infiltrate their mind. Because you act a fool. We have to have the full conversation. We have to put the responsibility, not because you gave birth to a child means you're a perfect mother. Not because you endured for 9 months and you gave birth to a child means that you are without spot or without wrinkle or you can't do anything wrong. That's the false narrative that's being painted about women, and it's not true. Sometimes we see these women out here and they're toxic, or they have toxic behaviors, and people love to say, oh yes, because her father wasn't around. Little did you know it's because she learned all that behavior from her mother. Because her mother was bitter. We got to be honest. We have to be honest. And then, in a strange series of events, then she turns in the conversation and says, oh, and y'all men, y'all need to create boundaries too, because y'all act like y'all don't know how to, because you weren't taught to when you were young or whatever. Let's be real. Let's keep it 100. Most of the times, the reason why men cannot create boundaries, especially with their kid's mother, is because she already act a fool. And then when they create a boundary, now her feelings are hurt. Now she mad. Now she done got upset. Oh, now you trying to step on her toes. Now she gonna act even more a fool. They create boundaries to protect their own peace, protect their own mental health, and then she will come and infiltrate the boundary. And then try to make him feel less than or make him feel inferior for doing so. Make it seem like he crazy. And now he's still dealing with the consequences of him creating this safe boundary for himself because she's not going to abide by the rules. Because she listening to women talk about how, they baby father need to respect them. Oh yeah, you need to watch what you say about your kid's mother. You need to watch what you say about your children's father. And some of y'all like to put on the smiley face when you get in front of the other parent and be like, oh yeah, I would never let my kids disrespect him. Or I would never let my kids, say anything bad to him. I would never. That is not the type of person I am. And then as soon as your kids get home, you start dragging him. You start having terrible conversations in front of them. You start demeaning him. You start undermining his leadership when he's not around. You start saying things about him negatively, having these pillow talk kind of conversations with your children. Sometimes you will do it indirectly in front of the children where you're talking to somebody on the phone, but they can hear you. And it's so stupid because you're doing that thinking that you're undermining the authority of their father, but in actuality, you're undermining the authority, period. Now these kids grow up and they feel like they don't have to respect authority, which means in turn, they also don't have to respect you. Because if they don't have to respect one parent, they don't got to respect the other because of you. We have to be honest. We have to be honest. Because these conversations are like, are only one-sided, as if women do nothing wrong. When we have literally displayed, even on this platform over and over again, the lengths that women will go because they mad. Sometimes they bitter because the relationship ended because it was their own fault, and they mad at him for not staying and sticking it out. They mad at him for not dealing with it. They mad at him for not dealing with the disrespect on a constant basis. Now, moving forward, she also said, that, sometimes maneuvering or creating boundaries, it might be sliding into this man's DM, or it might be sliding into this man's DM, but I wouldn't ask this guy anything. And like, who are you? Like, okay, this is the thing. Women get in spaces and then women try to, and this is something that women do naturally, right? If they are not evolved. Naturally, women get into spaces, and once they have a little bit of space to start talking about things or having conversations, they start feeling like they're the end all be all, and you should listen to everything that they say, and they're the ones that can direct men and women. If we say on a constant basis that women cannot even raise a boy to be a man, what makes you think that you as a woman can lead, direct, or enlighten a grown man on how he should be as a grown man? The true conversation is not about sliding nobody's DM and trying to maneuver. The true conversation is finding out context to each individual situation. What happened? How'd you get here? What was the problem? Is this person cooperative? Is this person not cooperative? We need the full structure. What happened in the past? What's going on now? What did this person do? What did you do? What did you say when this happened? What did you say when that happened? When you look at most of the time, a lot of fathers are willing to be there to support their children, are willing to be there in the children's life, are willing to play a part when it comes to their children. But that's not enough for most of these women. Because they feel like you're supposed to be in the children's life and my life. You're supposed to love me and them. You're supposed to be my best friend. You're supposed to be begging me every time for us to be together. And if you're not doing that, then you're not doing the right thing. A lot of men are children first. We just got to be real. And that's why, again, I keep saying a lot. I'm not saying all. I'm talking about the majority. If you're going to come in here and talk about the 5 stories you heard about Bitty Baby Daddy, that there's no means for that in this conversation. Just keeping it real. Anyways, I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.